What is going on, traders? John with Bull-Throttle Trading. Today I just have another video with more of the stocks that have earnings coming out tomorrow before market open. So I just wanted to do another video going through the ones that I see the most potential with. So this is a similar video as the ones you've seen kind of in the past couple of days. This is going to be the same kind of a breakdown. Again, just pay attention. I'm not telling you guys to buy into these stocks. It's just giving you somewhere to look. So let's, if you see value in these, then add them to your watch list. And again, we want to make sure that we wait for that confirmation and start to see, the stock is moving in our direction and then take advantage, right? So at that, let's jump on in. Alright, so the first stock we have on our list today is Wix.com, right? So this chart is crazy. Alright, so we can see that before the beginning of March, we kind of had this movement here, right? And we started to break these higher highs, right? And then we had this drop off, again, the beginning of March. So this is coronavirus related. And excuse me. So you can see we hit these lows and had just a huge bounce very quickly, very aggressively. And then we had a pullback and we got these higher lows. And you can see we broke above this EMA line and just took it all the way past the SMA line. Pulled back a little bit. We went a little below this SMA line, but we found a support and continued again. We got above this EMA line and just took off. So we can see right now when Wix gets above this EMA line, it just goes. So looking at this chart again, we could probably assume that the earnings statement that's going to come out here is probably going to be in the positive, right? The thing that we want to pay attention to is looking at the RSI. We're at 75. We are very overbought, right? Wix is very overbought on the 180-day chart. Now, what I want you guys to understand is when I say that it's overbought, please understand that these are going to change depending on which chart interval you're looking at, right? So I'm on the 180-day 4-hour. Here, let's go to the 1-day 1 minute. All right, see, now looking at this, we can see that we're very oversold on the intraday, right? So if we were day trading this, we can see that, all right, we hit this support, we're starting to bounce, we're testing this EMA line. Not that I would really want to get in on this because we had this big drop and we got these lower lows and these lower highs. But my point is, just pay attention that when I say something is overbought or oversold, that it does depend on which time interval you're looking at. And this is, again, kind of breaking it down on, and this makes sense because it's like, how are you looking to trade this stock, right? So depending on how this earnings statement comes out for Wix.com, looking again at the 180-day chart, so this is 6 months, we're very, very overbought, right? So this isn't necessarily a stock that I would want to buy into to hold long term right now, right? But depending on how these earnings go, this might make a good day trade, tomorrow during the day. So this is definitely one that I added to my watch list. And please understand too that there are other stocks out there that have earnings coming out tomorrow. I'm just doing the ones that I see the best potential in, right? So, and again, this isn't one that I would necessarily want to enter. We could wait for a pullback and wait for this RSI to drop down a little bit, like we could see like it did here. So we had this pullback and our RSI dropped below 50. And then that would have been a good buy-in, and then we could see that, all right, so this was on 5-4. So in the course of a week and a half, that would have been a very nice swing trade. So again, just trying to help get you guys an idea of the breakdown of all these, right? Okay, so the next one we have on the list, this is Sapiens International. All right, so this is another one that we can see, all right, we had this nice uptrend above this SMA line, right? Doing a really good job holding above it. big drop, and recovered within, you know, a month and a half, roughly, back up to where we were and getting higher highs on the year, right? So now we have this pullback, all right? So this is now, this stock right here is one that I am keeping a very, very close eye on tomorrow, right? So we have an earnings statement coming out before market open tomorrow. Look at our RSI is 47. We're right about in the middle. And we could see our MACD, our momentum has been pushing down. So we're having this pullback right now, right? And this pullback, we're approaching this previous support level. So we got these higher highs. See, we had a high level here. We got higher highs. We had a low level here. We got lower or higher lows as of right now. Now, again, we want to see how this continues on the day. But looking at this for a potential swing trade, all right, we see that we have this bounce and just very bullish movement. And like I said, I mean, this recovered quickly. It got back up to where it was trading and continued this path that it had, like the coronavirus didn't even exist, right? So we could see that we had this, if we follow this SMA line, right, and just take like an average and follow it, we are doing exact like the coronavirus never existed. So this is telling me that based on the earnings statement that's going to come out tomorrow, we can, again, probably see a positive earnings statement. And now that's not guaranteed. I don't know the full health of this company, but on a purely analytical side, right, we have a bullish trend going. Again, so it's good to trade with the trend, okay? So what's worrying me about this is we can see that today we have a very aggressive sell-off, right? So we want to definitely keep an eye, like if this pulls and we start getting lower lows. Again, this is just giving you guys an idea of where to start looking. I don't want to tell you guys where to buy, where to sell. I just want to give you guys ideas and opportunities to make your own decisions, right? And I think we can all agree why I see value on this, right? So again, this is not overbought. We're actually on the oversold side. We're below 50. We're still pulling back though. So we wanna find a support and identify a support, and we'd like to see that support be above this previous support, right? So we want to keep this upward trend going. But again, assuming that they have a positive earnings statement tomorrow and we find this support at this higher lows, this could be both for a day or a swing trade, a potentially very good stock. So again, this is something that we want to pay attention to. I'm going to set an alert here to see if we get below this previous support line here, right? And then I want to see if we get above this EMA line. So I'm going to create above where this EMA line is, right? And then we want to see if we're going to get these newer highs. So I'm going to set an alert here and see if we can get the higher highs. So again, this is one of my favorite stocks that I'm looking at right now for potential. And again, this is just where I see value in it. You guys may not see the same value, and that's totally fine. We all have different niches. We all have different trading styles. So, you know, we just want to find what works best for ourselves. All right. The next one we have on here is, I'm not sure how to say this company. I'm not sure if it's Stratasys Limited. I'm going to go with that. All right, so looking at this one, we can see that we've had kind of a bearish trend, right? We had a drop off. We kind of consolidated in this little window here. And then, you know, beginning of March, we had this pullback from the coronavirus. We found this support level. Oh, excuse me. We found this support level, and we started getting these higher highs, higher lows, and then we had a pullback, but we continued. So we could see now that we're starting to get this bullish trend, right? So we're now above the SMA line, and we are on the oversold side. So again, this is one that we have room to move. we're kind of testing out this support level here, right? So we could see yesterday we kind of hit the same support, so we're testing that support level, we're testing this SMA, and again, we've had this downtrend here, right? And we started to pick back up. So this is again a good indication that our earnings tomorrow before the market open might be a positive earnings, right? And if that's the case, and we do see positive earnings statement come out while we're identifying a support, well then we can see a nice push here. And if we get to these previous resistance, we're looking at about a 14% return, which is pretty good. And if we could even break above that and keep this uptrend going, then again, this offers a lot of opportunity. So again, we see this bullish trend, and we want to trade with the trend. So again, whether it be a day trade or a swing trade, this might be another one that we want to keep a close eye on, right? Let's see what it does. Let's see if we can identify a support and start to bounce. And then again, keep an eye and see what this earnings statement reveals, and see if we could break above this EMA line and continue this uptrend and start getting some higher highs. All right. The next one I have is Aptimmune Therapeutics. This is more on the low cap side. We can see that once the new year hit, we had this big push, right? And then we had a pullback, and then, you know, kind of dwindling down with the coronavirus. And since we've been recovering rather well, right? So again, this may be good news on a good earnings statement. We're above the SMA line. We have a nice uptrend coming. The volatility on this stock, though, as are a lot of these therapeutic companies, it's a riskier stock, right? So we definitely want to do our part, again, at managing our risk with this. Why I see the appeal in this, again, we have this big pullback here, right? And we are now right about in the middle. We're at 49 on the RSI, so leaning more towards the oversold side, but we're right about in the middle. We could see with our MACD that our momentum is kind of pulling back, which clearly we can see. So again, we want to see where we establish a support level and start to bounce. We can see that it looks like we already reached these lows of about $4, and it's been moving up. Like we could see this wick that goes up to about here, and we're trading at about $4.16. So it looks like we've found a support. Again, we want to keep an eye on this throughout the day and make sure that we continue to see it moving upward. But again, based on the RSI, the MACD, and this previous trend here, that we may see a positive catalyst in tomorrow's earnings, and it's not oversold, right? We're above the SMA line. We have this nice uptrend, so we're trading with the trend and waiting for good news to be a possible positive catalyst. So again, this is one lower cap, and I know I may or may not make a move on this. As I've said before in previous videos, I try to stay away from the lower cap stocks, but if there is an opportunity and I watch it and I manage my risk, believe me, there have been plenty of times where I've pulled a lot of money in on these kind of stocks if you catch it at the right time. You know, I don't want to hold this very long. I don't think I would go into this for a long-term swing trade, but maybe a couple of days. And again, managing my risk, keeping a close eye on what it does. I know that there's others of you guys out there who like to stay in this penny stock realm, and because again, you don't need a large amount of money to make a large amount of money with these lower cap stocks, and that's a big part of the appeal. So again, this is just, I thought it was worth mentioning. Just be careful with this one. Again, make sure that you have a plan. You know when you take a trade, where you want to buy, where you want to sell, and where you want to stop loss, and stick to your plan, especially with these lower cap stocks. It is absolutely imperative to stick to your plan and don't deviate from it. With the volatility on these lower cap stocks, you could lose a lot of money really quick. So do your best at not allowing that to happen. test yourself as a trader daily. You know, we want to make money on the long run over time, right? So don't take a risky shot just to try. You're not even going to remember this trade a month down the line, right? So let's just make sure that we do our best at managing our risk. All right, so the next one we have here is nice, and this is also a very nice chart. I know that was so lame. All right, so we can see the last 6 months before the coronavirus, we had a nice bullish trend going, right? It was a little choppy. We can see that it wasn't like a beautiful, you know, steady uptrend. It was a little choppy. We had the sell-off. We found a good bounce point, right? And now we had this aggressive recovery, right? So this is another one that we can see that we're back trading where we were pre-coronavirus. So, you know, overall this stock has recovered. And again, I'm not sure what their earnings are going to do. I'm not sure what they planned for, what they expected. But again, we can see we're back over the SMA line. We've had these nice higher highs and higher lows, and it's not as choppy as it was over here, right? It's a lot more aggressive. It's a very clear direction. So again, we want to trade in it. And again, we're seeing a pullback here. We're below the EMA line on the day. And our RSI again is around 50. So paying attention to what this is doing, again, this is another one where we want to see where it bounces. We want to identify a support wherever this pulls back, and hopefully, you know, we keep seeing these higher lows. If we see this drop below this previous support, then obviously it's not going to have as much value to us, correct? So we want to see where this bounces, pay attention to what the earnings for tomorrow come out with, and see what kind of potential we have. Now, one of the things that I do want to say on this one is we have these highs of 183, right? So this earnings statement can help get us back up to those higher highs. It's about a 7% return, right? The thing that we want to pay attention to is look how much this has to give back. Now, again, this drop was coronavirus related, right? And we saw about a 30, let's call it 36% drop. And with things starting to open back up again, remember, we may see a second wave of this come out. So if a second wave of COVID-19 starts to spread and we go back into a quarantine, I mean, what do we think this is going to do to our stocks, right? So again, we want to pay attention to that. This is why, again, it's important for us to manage our risk. So our risk to reward ratio, again, we're looking at a potential for about 6% versus 35% loss. Now, the way that this stock has been trading, again, we have this bullish movement. So there's, you know, I don't want you guys to think like, okay, we're going to hit 183 and that means it has to bounce. It could absolutely continue to carry, right? It's just we want to pay attention to patterns. Patterns tend to repeat themselves. It does not mean that they have to. So again, take that for what it's worth. Do your part at managing your risk, paying attention to what a stock does. Do not enter a trade on hope. Have a reason, see a value, have a plan. All right. Next up, we have Intercom Communications. This is one that, again, a lower cap stock. We had this big sell-off after the coronavirus, and we've been consolidating down here. I think that our earnings statement is probably not going to reflect the greatest earnings, right? I think we could all agree on that. We are still very below this SMA line. That's 91, no, I'm sorry. Where are we at? 45% till we reach this SMA line. The reason why I included this on my watch list is mainly, we're waiting for a positive catalyst. Could it be this earnings statement? Probably not. Um, I don't know for sure. Again, nothing's guaranteed. But look at this. We have a 78% return, or a 78% margin on a recovery with Intercom. And that's why I included this on here. Now, we don't really have any kind of news or anything that's saying that this is going to happen. Uh, but obviously, as a business owner and whatever, I mean, throughout all of this, we're all kicking into survival mode, right? So we're doing whatever we can to make our companies better. If Intercom can do something that will increase their value, then we see here that we have a lot of margin. So again, it's just worth mentioning. I'm not going to set any alerts on this or anything, but just let's see what their earnings do and go from there, pretty much, right? All right, lastly, we have First Majestic Silver. So this is, now it's on, I wouldn't call it lower cap. You know, we could see we have lows of $4, highs of 12. This is, for a beginner trader, this is a price point that I like to stay around, right? So you don't have to have a whole lot of money to make money on this. It's not as volatile as a penny stock is. So we have some benefits on trading with something like this. So we can see that we hit these highs at 1269, and we've been trading below the SMA line ever since. You know, this was the coronavirus, so we even had this downward trend before the coronavirus really happened. And then we see this big pullback, and now we're getting these higher highs and higher lows. Come on. Right? So we're seeing this nice pattern here. We're trading above the SMA line, and we're starting to see a pullback here. So based on where I drew this line, we can see we're testing the pattern, right? And there's a good chance that we might find a support around here and start to see a bounce. Obviously, from here on up, we're in this recovery mode, right? We're moving bullishly, which could potentially give us a positive earnings statement tomorrow before market opens. And our RSI is low. We're on the oversold side, right? So this, again, is a good indication that, all right, if we have a positive earning here, some good news, whatever, we establish a nice, I mean, even without an earnings statement, if we establish a nice support level, right? And we validate it, we get confirmation, and we start to see it start to bounce back up, then we can really see a good opportunity here, right? So we have this potential of about 15% based on its previous resistance, right? Which 15% is good. And we can see that, you know, this was trading here within the span of about 3 weeks. So again, for a potential for 15% on maybe a 2 to 3 week swing trade isn't a bad idea. Not to mention the fact that, again, we have this upward trend. So for our day traders, we're trading with the trend, and it's something that could potentially offer us some value, right? So again, that's why I wanted to go through these stocks with you. If you've been watching, a lot of these that I've been doing in these stocks to watch did not perform for us. We've had some other ones that performed very well. So that's, again, why it's important to wait for that confirmation. Don't just buy because we're oversold. Don't just buy because we're at the previous support level. We want to make sure that we confirm that that support level is a valid support level again, and wait for that bounce. Wait for those candlesticks to get above that EMA and show us that, okay, we're now back in this uptrend. And again, do your part at getting in, know where you want to buy, know where you want to sell, know where you want to have a stop loss, right? So again, do your part at managing your risk and testing yourself as a trader on the daily. All right, I'm going to end this video here. I hope that you guys got some kind of value out of this video. If you did, please feel free to hit that like and subscribe button and help support me in making more videos like this to help you guys. Also, be sure to check out our Facebook group, Bull-Throttle Trading. And I'm going to try to do another tutorial on being a better trader today as well. So hopefully I'll get that out soon. And on that, I hope you guys all end the day in the green, and I'll catch you later.